Good afternoon and welcome to the Lebanon Utility Service Board meeting on this 9th day of December 2015. Let the record show that there was a working session prior to this meeting and there is an executive session after this meeting. All meetings have been properly advertised. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the November 18, 2015 meeting. Has everybody received those minutes? If so, are there any corrections or changes that need to be made? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We approve the minutes of the November 18th meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next item on the agenda is the reallocation of city and utility split for IT services.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
on July 8th of this year, the board approved an agreement with Government and Utility Services to provide temporary IT services for us through the end of the year. At that time, we'd indicated to the board that that would be a 63% city, 37% utility split. A couple of weeks ago, city reviewing their end-of-the-year finances, they brought that to our attention that it probably should be more in line to the 55 utility, 45 city. And again, I'll take the bat on that. There's so many different funding formulas and splits. I grabbed the wrong one.
Okay.
It's for that way on the July 8th with Guts and the July 22nd with the agreement that we had with Dave Steele to write the IT RFP. So those were approved at 63% city, 37% utility, and those should be 55% utility, 45% city.
Okay. So we probably need a motion to accept that change. It was just a clerical error. Any questions regarding that? If not, I'd entertain a motion to make that correction for the record.
I make a motion that we approve the change to the allocation of the two contracts for IT for 45 for the city and 55 for the utilities percent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we reallocate or approve a reallocation of percentages paid to the IT from 45% to the city, 55% to the utilities. Any additional questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Mr. Chairman, Board, one more point on that topic before we get off of it, and so we go on record. With Sondai coming in on the IT, probably after 3 to 6 months of them having their feet on the ground, I think it's important that we look to them and say, okay, as things have changed over the years on IT resources, telecom, so on and so forth, it's probably time to relook at those percentages.
Okay.
Because those have been around for so long, nobody really understands the basis for them.
That makes total sense. They hopefully will be able to make recommendations
Exactly.
as to whether or not we are in line with that or out of line.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. And also the same way on the, how the building is assessed for operating costs. Essentially, after the new operations building is finished end of March, we will not be using any of the second floor at all, and we'll still have half the first, most of the basement, but it'll be time to relook at that square footage and operating cost allocation too.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is Lebanon utility portion of city salaries. We received a letter from Mayor Huck Lewis requesting approval of certain city salaries to be paid by Lebanon Utilities. This is something that has traditionally been done through the years. We've contributed to the cost of or contributed monies to the mayor's pay as well as the clerk treasurer's pay.
What the letter of request from the mayor dated November 24th As part of the mayor's salary, that would be $26,866. Clerk treasurer, $14,912, and deputy clerk treasurer, $24,702. That basically arrangement that was reached many years ago for services that they provide to the utility. That total is $66,480, and the same percentages are in these numbers that have historically been.
Comments?
Is that something that's ever reevaluated as well? Or has, you said it's been a while, but is that worth taking a look at again when we're
Well,
doing it?
I think that's a very good point, Neil, because when we were supporting a lot of the clerk treasurer and deputy clerk treasurer, there was much more manual intervention required. So it'd be worth looking at.
Could we also include in the security part of that too?
We can go ahead and make that part of the motion if you want to, Jim. We've also been asked again to fund half the security salary at $20,600. We split that 50-50 with the city. And as I've said many times, we get more than that value out of that person sitting down there in front of customer service. So that is $20,600. So in total,
Looking at $86,480.
87? Yeah,
Oh, you're-
87?
87.
480, yeah.
What did I miss?
What, you carry the one?
Oh, I didn't have that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Carry the one.
Yeah, 67,000,
480.
480, yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't have my calculator.
No, it's 67,080.
Yeah, okay.
Where's a second grader when you need them?
Wrong numbers down to begin with. Okay, so we're looking at a total of $67,080 in question.
$80.
$80, yes. Yeah.
Look at more than that total.
Does that include the
You're not
security?
including the security in that either.
Oh, that's,
No. 66,480.
no,
for the-
he's right, it's 87.
87,080.
$87,080.
Right.
Yes, I said 60. Okay, yeah, so that was my bad.
Okay. Now it's clear as mud.
Yeah. So do we get that for the security and the offset for the mayor and the clerk treasurer?
And
The
deputy
total is $87,080.
I would make a motion that we approve the request from Mayor Huck Lewis by letters dated November 24th and November 25th to pay portions of the city salaries, including the security officer.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve payment to the city for to offset mayor's salary as well as city clerk's salary as well as security officer's salary in a total of $87,080.
And deputy.
And deputy. Okay. Any additional comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next item on the agenda is Westler Engineering Contract. This is an action item as well. Bob has some information from Westler regarding the contract. Good afternoon, Bob.
Good afternoon, Board. I believe you got a copy of the proposal that Westler's given us. Basically, what it is, we're going to try to pin down some other areas that we have within the system that have been shown as fairly high water inflow and infiltration areas. These areas are mostly the downtown areas are where we're going to kind of focus, but again, we're even going to look out at like at Prairie Heights and a few other areas where we've just seen really high spikes in our lift stations. So all this is just to basically expand what we've already done and try to see where we can spend our money the best when we start looking at how we're lining, how we're approaching it with certain areas. So it gives us more focus is what it will do. So this is for 19,000 and it's about 200 hours of man hours for them to do this. And they'll be doing this, a lot of this at night flow and trying to just determine the clear water versus what is being driven by just use, so.
Once we do this, Bob, how much of the city will we have covered?
Well, we've gone through the whole city as far as smoke testing. We've gone through a lot of the city and just inspections of ourselves and through that smoke testing. But this is looking at just another small portion, honestly, of what the detail is within certain areas, because we're trying to get more detailed, is what we're trying to do now, not just focus on that big, broad picture, which is what we had done with the smoke testing and our stuff.
So once we've done Edgewood, Morningstar, and now we're doing...
Morningside, right?
Morningside, I'm sorry. Prairie Heights, Whit Road, Monument Drive, are we like 30% through the city with Westler, or
I doubt it yet.
still not? Okay.
It's still not yet.
Well, but the main thing is, these are areas that we've identified as not having the reduction in flows that they should have. So when we put the final infiltration plan together between the first study or 19 that they did and this second 19, it'll really set the platform for us for a rollout plan, like Bob said, so we know where we invest our dollars, we're going to get the highest return on infiltration.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's our measuring stick, Bob, for how do we know the rehab work is going to be, whether or not it's successful? Are we, because initially, we took our meter readings, I guess, at some of the lift stations, and that was what led you to direct the attention to those areas. So is that the plan, is to continue to monitor those after the rehab is done? And
We can still do that on the areas like Prairie Heights and Witt and Monument. We can do that kind of stuff, and that's what we will do. The areas that, like the downtown area, is going to have to be done a little bit differently.
portable flow meters or something? I mean, I think it would be good to gauge what was it, we spend $2 million or whatever we spend, how much did we get in reduction from that? And we're not going to know unless we somehow measure it, so.
Correct. What we're going to end up also seeing is, at least I hope, is that we end up seeing is the impacts from all the pumping stations that we have on that downtown area as it comes and hits the area, and how that, is that causing some surcharging systems that we need to address too as well, because of the sheer volume. When you start putting all these pumps on, it really adds up fairly quick. We have like 17 lift stations, so that's a lot of water. Some of these things really pump an awful lot of water. So when they're going, that can create some really head pressure into the system. And hopefully we'll find some of those bottlenecks.
Right. So this is another component in order
Just
to
another
have
component,
to
right.
develop a strategy, to refine it so that when we do strike, we're able to strike efficiently.
Exactly.
And back to Gary's point, then
Yes.
you got to be able to measure it.
Yes.
We have to be able to
Yeah.
measure it, right.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that MCSP is going to start the manhole rehab work next week.
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
So if anybody's interested and wants to go out and look at a manhole rehab, it's in Elmwood subdivision.
Yes, that's where it is right now. They think it'll only take them a couple days to do, so,
Okay.
A couple days to do all those manholes?
yes, to do all of them.
Wow, okay.
And with that, Westler's going out and making sure how they do what they do, just to verify, to make sure that we get what we're supposed to get. All those all those manhole structures need to be dry when that material is applied to them. And there's other issues that we need to do as far as shelf life and things that they need to be verified. So we're getting some training even as we do that through Westler on this. So this will be good for our guys.
Board, just so you're aware, the contract we've looked at, it is part of a larger master services agreement, and it's got all the elements we need to move forward.
Okay. So we don't have to review the contract?
No, we're good.
It's just an extension? Okay.
I was just wondering on the contract, Jeff, they have a not-to-exceed fee, or a fee, but then they also put man-hours, but they've given us a hourly rate schedule.
I
I don't
asked
even know
them
why
to
they
atta-
put man-hours in
I
there.
asked them to attach the schedule, just because sometimes when we get down the road from the further we get away from a master services agreement, I just want to make sure everybody recalls and is dealing with the same rate schedule and it doesn't incidentally change. So I asked them to just put those on there for reference. And then they also, when we ask them to break down what the rate is or how many hours, it's so we have an idea or scope, kind of an estimate of what's going on. So that's really more informational for us, so we can check their work.
So it should be an estimated 200 man-hours. I mean, I would hope that once if they're spending 200 man-hours at a $40 an hour guy, they don't pull a plug and say, okay, pay us 19 grand.
That's
That's exactly the reason. You're right,
Right.
you're right,
right.
right.
So we're,
That is right.
So when they submit their invoices, they show how many hours and what the
Yes.
Yes, they do.
hourly rate is of that classification and
Yes.
employee. Okay.
Okay, any additional questions or comments?
I'd like to make the motion that we accept the contract from Wessler for smoke testing and study for the areas indicated in an amount not to exceed $19,000, and authorize the general manager to sign the contract.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the contract for Wessler Engineering for smoke testing, et cetera, for the downtown area in an amount of not to exceed $19,000, authorizing general manager to sign the contract on behalf of the board. Any comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is fuel contract. I believe we're not at this time ready to discuss that. I would entertain a motion that we table that.
So move.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we table item number 7 in regards to a 2016 fuel contract. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next item on the agenda is declaration of surplus property. I believe Mr. Whitman has some property that he believes to be surplus.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
And
Mike.
Please remember, be safe out there.
Yeah.
Over several years, thank you. Over several years, the electric side of Lebanon Utilities has accumulated a fair amount of material and equipment that is no longer needed. We've taken material and equipment out of service, or we've just ended up with extras. We recognized some time ago the need to clean out our attic. So I'm asking the board to declare as surplus the following. 1 69 to 4 kV power transformer, General Electric, and the associated switchgear and batteries that go along with that. Pete Shepard mentioned a few weeks ago that we no longer have a need for KV system, and so this is one of the transformers and the equipment that's no longer needed. We just don't have 4 kV customers. We've converted everybody over to 12 kV. We also have 22 skids of various items, and that was a part of the board package, and you can see that. It's just all kinds of stuff. We estimate the value of those 22 skids to be approximately $6,600. We also have various types of wire and cable, also part of the board package. We estimate the selling value of that to be $20,000. And we have various overhead transformers, also the details of part of the package, estimated value of $6,000. Because the total value is estimated to be in excess of $5,000, we will follow Indiana Code 5-22-22 in the disposition of this property. We are requesting the following in regards to this transaction: that the board declare this equipment materials as surplus personal property, and that the board allow me to sell the items in accordance with Indiana Code 522-22. Are there questions?
Yeah, I got one. A according to this Indiana code, it looks like there's four different ways you can do this. What are you proposing to utilize?
We would basically go out for sealed bids. We've got everything identified by lot, and so we would go out to a variety of companies that we feel may have an interest, and they could put together a proposal, a sealed bid, and bid on the lots that they have an interest in. So it could be everything that I just covered, or it could be just a portion of what I've covered. But we're hoping to be able to eventually dispose of all of this one way or the other.
Mr. Led, we will also note it, publicly advertise on various websites, as well as invited bidders, people we know that use this equipment through our
IMEA.
vendor-managed group through Annixter. They can direct us to various people in the industry. Some of the electric guys know who those people are, or entities, and then we'll go through the public notice process as well. So this will be a public sale under 52222.
Okay.
Now, we may not get any value, any bidders, and then we'll come back to you and say, hey, we're going to declare it as scrap, we're going to try that process again, what have you.
So Mike, does this clean up the inventory then? Does this clean up our inventory? Are we all vendor-owned at this point?
Yeah, it's pretty extensive cleanup that Pete and the line guys have taken care of. So I don't know that we're 100%, but we're probably very close to 100%. So I think this is a severe effort to take care of this material.
Well, and we're putting a push on too, Alan, that what the inventory that they're going to reimburse us for, that's completed prior to the end of the year. So we have a complete, clean cutoff. January 1, we're wholly on vendor-owned.
So we'll come back to you hopefully before the end of the year with a list that they are going to, items that we use, and we'll have another process that we'll explain to you relative to 52222 and how we manage that. So
Yeah.
whether we're going to hang on to it, whether they're going to reimburse us, we'll present those options to you.
Okay.
Motions for the surplus and the sales, or
Yes.
one do two? Okay. All right, well, I would move to declare the property presented as surplus property.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to declare the property that Mr. Whitman described as surplus property, which included a 4 kVA transformer, miscellaneous skids, miscellaneous wire, to be sold by the terms or conditions of Indiana Code 522-22 at this time. Any additional comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so now then, we need a motion for the sale of that property.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we allow Special Project Manager Mike Whitman to sell the surplus property as well.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to authorize Special Project Manager Mike Whitman to sell the surplus property. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to, as a point of interest in time and our agenda being full and being pushed by a working session or executive session at 5 o'clock, we're going to drop item number 10 to a later date. Next item on the agenda then will be item number 11, reporting on inventory closeout with,
Mr. Chairman, I might suggest, because of our limited time, that this is something that Mike could give at the next meeting when we do the complete closeout. Just suggesting that we table this.
drop it
item
right now.
Yeah.
Is that all right with you, Mike? Okay. Okay. So then we'll move on to item number 12, and that is the acceptance of General Manager Jay McCoskey's resignation. Mr. McCoskey has done a great job for us. It's been quite an honor to work with Jay. This organization has moved forward at a very, very aggressive rate, and that is as a result of his leadership, and very much appreciated. And we're very disappointed to hear of your resignation, and we will work on that here in a little bit. We'll see if it's approved. But Jay, publicly, thank you. Thank you for all you've done. God bless you in your new endeavors. Be safe. Thank you. That being said, I would entertain a motion to accept Jay's resignation.
Just as a point of order, that we need an effective date with that.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. Effective date would be Friday, the 11th at 5 o'clock.
Guess I will reluctantly make that motion to approve the resignation of Jay McCoskey with an effective date of Friday, the 11th at 5 PM.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we accept the resignation of General Manager Jay McCoskey effective Friday, December the 11th at 5 PM. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Will I still have the opportunity under 17 to make general comments? I guess maybe I'd be a public person at that point?
No, you're still here.
Okay, that's right, that's right, that's right.
That's right, and we have a list of things that you need to prior to your departure. Okay, that being said, and the next item on the agenda is approving the acting general manager position. The committee. Employment?
Personnel committee.
Personnel, yeah, couldn't think of personnel. Personnel committee has met and had interviews, and as a result of the interviews, we would recommend to the board that they appoint as acting general manager Mike Whitman to take effect Friday, December the 11th, 5 PM.
What agreement? No agreement?
I make a motion to approve Mike Whitman as acting general manager effective December 11th, 2015 at 5 o'clock PM.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the assignment of acting general manager to Mike Whitman at December the 11th, 5 PM. Any additional comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mike. Next item on the agenda is agreement for legal services with Jacob Hammerly and Johnson for 2016. We do an annual look on the contract with our council and sign an annual agreement with them. The contract has not changed, and Jeff continues to do an excellent job. So it would be my recommendation that we move forward with this.
Guess no.
Yeah. Wow.
Silence is deafening.
Yeah, it is.
I make a motion, we approve agreement with Jacob Hammerly and Johnson for 2016.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. We approve agreement with Jacob Hammerly and Johnson for 2016.
Please.
Oh.
I was making up attorney names.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next item on the agenda is moving our December meeting. We need to have one more meeting in December for election of officers, and we need to move that from the 23rd to the 21st with an executive session, no, working session at 2:30 prior to that.
Correct.
So I would entertain a motion that we move to vacate the 23rd meeting, number one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So make a motion that we vacate the December 23rd meeting as scheduled.
Second.
Moved and second that we vacate the December 23rd meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Then I would entertain a motion to establish a meeting on the 21st of December with a 2:30 working session prior to the 4 o'clock meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to establish a meeting on the 21st of December at 2:30 with a working session, 4 o'clock regular meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is approval of claims.
Make the motion to approve the claims as presented.
Second.
All those in favor of approving payment of claims signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any other business? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman and Board, I'm glad to take this final opportunity. The notification relative to the wastewater increase went out last Friday. I happened to receive mine this past Monday, so all customers have been notified of the impact of that starting the first of the year. The Indiana Municipal Power Association, or agency, I'm sorry, from which we buy our power, will be passing along to us and then our customers directly a 1.47% increase first of year, which reflects increases in the cost of fuel, system improvements, and environmental compliance. The initial impact on rates will be minimal for residential customers using an average of 1,000 kilowatt-hours a month. They'll only see about a 0.1% or 16 cents a month increase. Commercial customers using approximately 8,000 kilowatt-hours a month will see a 1.23% increase and about $10 a month. Both those percentages, of course, are less than 1.47 general increase that I would talk to you about being increased, but this is adjustment. Each quarter they adjust the tracker. They look at past 6 months and then carry forward. So the first quarter, that is the net impact to the customers, and we'll be promoting that on our bill messaging, social media, so on and so forth, news release to get that word out. As indicated, this is my last meeting as GM. I can't thank the board and staff enough for their efforts and support for the last couple of years, for which I'm very proud of our accomplishments. The guidance and counsel of Jeff Jacob has been invaluable to us, despite the silence of approving his contract for next year. As I have indicated several times, the support and advice of our chairman, Dan Lamar, has been invaluable to me. We tackled a number of tough issues that needed addressed, and Dan was there continually for advice, support, recommendations. And so now he can go out and sell some insurances God created him to do. Hopefully our customers and community appreciate having utilities owned by them, ran by a board of their peers, and having employees that are as involved in the community as our citizens and our residents and our neighbors are. We're not an 800 number or just a website for people to do business with us. We're right here. You can come in and talk directly to us, call us, see us at the grocery store, and Lori can relate to this. You know, they can't hardly go anywhere without getting utility questions, but that's just part of owning your own utilities. And I appreciate that more and more every day. The longer you get put on hold, and if you want to go see someone, there's no way you can go see them. I mean, at the end of the day. But on top of that, our rates are competitive or even cheaper than the larger impersonal corporations. Again, represented by boards where they're paid high salaries. Many of those same people aren't from the states where they're directing investment, recommending rates being increased and that sort of thing. You guys live here. You guys get the same impact of rates, the quality of service as what you're managing for our customers. So I wish you and this wonderful community all the best. My parting overview of the utilities, the electrical system and department is better shaped than probably it's been in decades. I recommend following the system model recommendations for the next few years, and you'll have a system here that will be incomparable, but again, very comparable rates, cheaper rates. Water's fine for foreseeable future, but as a countywide water availability study indicates, we need to be looking at additional resources of supply in the next 20, 25 years. Well, 20, 25 years, when you're tackling those kinds of issues, will be here tomorrow. But, you know, I'd like to communicate that work has already started looking at what some of the options might be to address that situation sooner than later. Of course, wastewater is infiltration, 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 and infiltration of clear water into the wastewater system. The infiltration created by sump pumps and properly connected into the wastewater system, our pipes needing relined, must be addressed aggressively and now, before, as I've indicated before, IDEM walks in and does some kind of consent decree like they did to Noblesville a few years back, costing them $65 million to address their issues. Their other option is no more new building permits, so on and so forth. And some might say, we need to keep Lebanon the way it is. The reality is, if the city doesn't grow, the utilities revenues don't grow, eventually what taxpayers and ratepayers have to understand, costs are going to go up. And if you want to maintain the same level of services for street department, parks, your utilities, and the rate base isn't going up, those customers that are left, what they pay is going to be significantly higher. So it's everybody's, in everybody's favor that this situation be addressed and let this community continue to grow in a well-thought-through manner. As indicated, I've been here 2 years and have fallen in love with this community and the people that it represents. We talk about being the friendliest city. I think of that more as a motto. It truly is the friendliest city. Been welcomed here with open arms. And I wish you all the very best. And thank you for the support that you've given me to do what we need to do to get done. So thank you.
Thank you, Jay. God bless you. At this time, we'll have an opportunity to hear any comments from the public. Okay, that being said, again, Jay, best of luck.
Thanks, Sam.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all you've done. I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Don't forget, next meeting's, I'll take the vote here in a minute. We did take the vote. Yeah, okay. Next meeting's 21st, 2:30 work session, 4 o'clock is our regular meeting. Thank you. Have a great evening.
An awful lot